Good morning, Corporal.
Good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to our jurors?
I'm Brian Wallace. I'm currently the traffic sergeant with Jacksonville Beach Police.
And how long have you been with the Jacksonville Beach Police Department?
For 15 years.
And during your time there, what positions have you held?
Started off July 11th, 2011 patrol, and then I spent about 2 years on patrol, went to the Downtown Cape unit. It's the community assisted policing effort, basically downtown bar unit. I was there for about 5 years and then went to the Special Investigations Unit in 2018, 2019, where I spent about 5 years there. And then in April of 2022, I got promoted to sergeant, and now I manage the traffic unit at Jax Beach Police.
And I want to ask you a few questions about February 16th, 2022, and your involvement in the investigation into the murder of Jared Bridegan.
Sure.
Did you participate in the investigation in the capacity of collecting and putting into property surveillance, ring camera, home surveillance camera videos?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you respond to Sanctuary Boulevard South on February 16th, 2022?
I did not on the 16th.
When did you become involved with the investigation?
The very next day, February 17th, 2022, about 8 o'clock, we had a briefing in the morning, and I was in Special Investigations at the time, and we were in charge of canvassing the area around the shooting scene, and we all had blocks of areas where we would go canvass, knock on doors, try and find surveillance and things like that, and so that was my responsibility for a better part of the next month.
Okay. Could you give us an estimate, if you know, how many houses do you think yourself and members of Jacksonville Beach went to looking for surveillance or eyewitnesses?
Hundreds. Couple hundred-ish. Myself knocking on doors, maybe 50, 60, something like that. And
some neighborhoods in Jacksonville, when police knock on doors, people aren't all that excited to answer. Did you have any difficulties with people in this area being cooperative with your investigation?
I would say most people were pretty cooperative. There's some that didn't really want to come to the door. They might talk to you through a screen, or they open the door and kind of are apprehensive, not really sure why you're there. But once you tell them who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, and kind of a little bit about what's going on, they're usually pretty helpful.
How did you decide what houses that you were going to go to and see if they had surveillance?
That was started kind of at the 8 o'clock briefing on the 17th, and I don't know if quadrants is the right word, but just kind of areas of responsibility that I was responsible for and other members of Special Investigations. And so we started at the homicide scene, and then we kind of worked out from there. It was determined that we would kind of start at the scene and then work all the way up to the last known location. And so where I started was, I think it's 4089 America or 4098, one of the two. And that's at the very end of America. And abuts up right to JTB.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's been marked and entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 209. And do you recognize this area?
That's Jacksonville Beach.
And this is a Google map of the area. Can you show us, kind of indicating, you can mark on your finger, like
sure,
touch screen, where you began, where the homicide scene is and where you began canvassing?
Sorry. This little circle right here is the incident scene, and kind of this little stretch of area is America. And right where this X is kind of 4089 America, and that was the first house that I went to. And then after that, for the first day, I do believe it was in kind of this area, this Ocean Terrace, Grande Boulevard, Jacksonville Drive, other portions of America, and then through the next several days and weeks, we kind of moved north on America, hit houses on pretty much each side, kept on going up through America. Do you want me to keep going? Or just stop there? Okay. Yeah, then we...
No, just, yeah. I want the jury to get an idea of the geographic area you covered.
Sure. Sorry, I'm kind of... This is the kind of the homicide location. And then we went up through America and did a few houses on Evans Drive. There's actually like a West Wind, which is this, and East Wind. We did some houses on West Wind Drive. And then kept on going. Hit Seabreeze, which is this location right here. And then now we're getting into Fairway Lane. And go up through Fairway Lane, and then it turns into 15th Street at this location, and then there's a kind of a northern portion of the map. But
I have another portion of a map I'll show you in a
sure.
moment. On February 17th, did you or the team with Jacksonville Beach Police have any information as to a suspect description or a vehicle description? How is it that you chose this route?
I think it was just investigative effort. You know, you start at the X, right? You start where the incident happened and you kind of work up from there. And you're trying to find some type of evidence, video of, you know, was this captured on someone's home surveillance system? And so it would make sense to start in the America Avenue because it is a pretty wooded area, right? I mean, on this location right here is woods. And then there are some houses on America. And then there's a few on, that Sanctuary Way North, and then you get into Sanctuary, but it is pretty wooded, except for that area on America Avenue, 40, 67, 89, 73 houses right there.
You're following a route of what appears to be kind of, for this area at least, some of the thoroughfare streets that someone would drive. Was that intentional? Can you explain to the jury the thought process behind that? I'm sorry, you're saying going from, like, the thought process of this route? Yes.
Yeah, last known location, right? So he dropped off kids at the residence, which is on Marsh Inlet. It's a northern location of this map.
I'm going to show it to you right
Sure.
now. I'm going to show you states 2 and 8.
Yeah, okay.
And from the bottom of this map, is that the end of where we left off previously? So we see Fairway Lane here that you had circled previously.
That's correct. So Fairway Lane, then we go up, Fairway turns into 15th, it's kind of one and the same. And then we go up, and then right here we're at Marsh Inlet, last known location. Okay.
And this pin here indicates the residence that you all had information was the last place Mr. Bridegan had been seen.
That is correct.
And that would be 1511 Marsh Inlet Court.
Correct.
In this area, where else did you canvass for video surveillance?
There's a golf course right here, so this is kind of out. A few, I don't think any houses on Marsh side went, and again, this is kind of a group effort, right? This is not all just me. There's several detectives that are doing this canvassing. And then there's some detectives did on Marsh Inlet, I think a few houses on 15th, but we tried to hit the majority, if not all of the houses on that route.
Did you gather any surveillance? Obviously, this is the golf course. Did you gather any surveillance from Cradle Creek Preserve, from Shutter Avenue, or any of these areas?
So eventually, yes, at the police department, which is kind of right here, we have some surveillance that we were able to pick up. This is Discovery School right here. Their cameras this is later in the investigation, found out that their cameras were not working. And then there's nothing. There were nothing here in the golf course. Cradle Creek's cameras were down from a previous tropical storm. I think a tree hit the pole or power outage or whatnot, and they were not operational at the time. On this route specifically, there's one house, I think it's 25 Fairway, where we were able to get some video eventually in the case, and I think that's kind of the first one where we were able to use that for, I guess, not the first video that we obtained, but one of the ones that we used.
And we're going to show the jury video compilation in a moment that you've previously seen before today, correct?
Correct.
The video they're going to see, you mentioned that this house on Fairway Lane is kind of in this particular area, one of the few cameras you were able to get surveillance of the victim's vehicle and what would eventually be identified as a suspect vehicle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you mentioned that there were no working cameras here at Cradle Creek.
That's correct.
No working cameras here at the Discovery School.
That's correct.
And eventually, did you obtain some video surveillance footage from this apartment complex?
Yes, we did. That's, I believe, 1712 Pablo Hamlet. This is a assisted living facility. We were able to get some video from Pablo Hamlet. And then if you go even further north of this and kind of go a little bit west, we also obtained video from 1712 Beach, which is Taco Lu. They had some exterior surveillance that was also working. So as far as up north here, if you kind of like look up here, there's Taco Lu on Beach Boulevard. And then you turn down on 15th, and we ended up getting Pablo Hamlet, and then some at the police department. That's really about, now we're getting into some public storage areas kind of in this portion of the map, and there's other areas on 9th Street where we also obtain. You want me to go into that too, or just kind of?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, so there's, if you go to this 9th Street area, this is, again, further on in the investigation. We were able to obtain some video from some Jack's Refrigeration, which is at the corner of 7th Avenue South and 9th Street. There's a home on, I think it's 882 12th Avenue South, might be 13th. We used that as well. And then I think public storage, we also had some surveillance from there. And that looks about it on this map.
Okay, so for this particular area, we know we've got surveillance here, 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 Taco Lu, which is up here.
Correct.
This area, and this area.
That, I believe that's correct. It might be not 12th, it might be 13th.
Sure. And just for the jury's information, it wasn't for lack of trying. You didn't skip houses along these routes or anything like that. It was just where businesses in this area or houses in this area actually had working cameras that faced the street.
Correct, working cameras. You will find that a lot of people don't pay for the subscription service, so they only have just live video feeds and things like that.
And so when you went to visit people, tell me more about that. Were there occasions where somebody had a camera in the front that you noticed, but they don't have historical footage?
Sure. A lot of people, they have cameras, but they only pay for example, I think a couple of cases that were like Google Nest, there's a free system that you get, and you get, I think, 3 hours worth of data. Everything else after that is washed. Most of the cameras now are subscription-based, so if you don't pay for the subscription, then they're not going to hold on to that data. The videos that we did find, some people have like the Lorex systems are the ones that you would find that have like an internal terabyte or just some internal hard drive that would hold video, and those places were the ones that had historical data that was longer than say 3 hours, a day, a week, things like that. So it kind of varied. Some people had data for 7 days, some people had data for longer than that, but it was not a lot, but a good portion, I would say.
In collecting this video surveillance, and I understand there were other detectives working with you, did you all make efforts to ensure that the time and date stamp on the videos you collected were correct?
Correct. There's a few that you'll see some time and dates that are incorrect, and some people just don't manage their home security system, or when they start it up, they don't change it properly, and it's not synced up, right? So Ring's usually pretty good about that, but other of those home systems that you can buy online, they're inaccurate. So there's a few, like the Pablo Hamlet one is going to be a little off. I think it's 3551 America, which is the Slayman house. That one I think is also a little bit off, and then a few here and there are not exactly accurate, so we had to adjust for that, right? So we're using our phone to just make sure that, like, okay, what we're looking at right here, we need to do some quick cop math and find out that, this is the time that we're working within. And so sometimes we had to use that math and go back in time, and then we go, okay, this is the actual time of the video. It's not exactly the time that's in the top right, top left, wherever it is.
When you collected videos and ensured that the time and date stamp was correct, if it was not correct, did you document that in reports?
I don't remember. I don't know if I did or somebody else might have, but it was at some point transcribed onto a piece of paper that was handed over to one of the lead detectives, and that way they knew the information that they were looking at was chronological. So they didn't see a video like, oh, this doesn't make any sense, right? So we're looking at a video that doesn't have a right timestamp, but we would inform them that, hey, this is off X number of hours, X number of minutes, just FYI for you.
So information, if a timestamp was off, that information was collected, it was relayed to detectives so that everybody was aware of the correct time for each video collected.
That's correct.
If you saw a camera on a house and nobody answered the door, did you all make multiple efforts to go back and retrieve video?
That's correct. I think if you look at my first supplement, you'll see that there's several houses that I went to that I didn't, nobody answered the door, and which was, kind of common. It's during the day, people go to work, and so we went back, or at least I did, and all the other detectives, I'm sure you can ask them, but the additional supplements were follow-ups where I went back to the houses that we didn't have any, no contact with, right? So whether there were cameras or not, I went back, and if the second time they didn't have, they didn't answer or they weren't home, we left business cards, put the number on the back of the business card, put it in the door, call me. At that point, that was really the continuing follow-up. We didn't badger these people and go back, 3, 4, 5 times. But we did make a pretty concerted effort. If we saw a Ring camera, if we saw surveillance on the eaves of a house, we would try to find out, where that person was, if we could get phone numbers for them using electrical cut-ins or historical data, things like that. So
once you all collected all of these videos, did you and other members of the Jacksonville Beach Police Department start reviewing video footage?
Correct, yes.
What were you looking for on initial review?
The first 2 houses we went to on America, we're looking for anything, right? We like to capture the incident as it happened. If we could capture, the homicide happening, that would be priority number one. And that was pretty quick. That was first day. At 4067 America, that's Trent Waterman's house. That's the third one down America. There was a Ring camera. I think it's a floodlight captured on the second floor of the house. And when I went into Mr. Waterman's house, he let me access his iPad. We pulled it up on his iPad, and we went through some videos, and there was the first video, right, where there's a truck that passes by that triggers because it's a motion-activated camera, and the video that you'll see is it's a loud gunshot, just one shot, and then there's a few seconds that go by, and off in the distance you can see a stopped car. And I'm just kind of going into it. There's a silhouette that walks in front of the car, starts walking, and then picks up pace. I believe starts running, not at an incredibly sprint, but definitely running. And they're running away from the parked car.
You have a great recall for the names and addresses of these people that correspond to the videos.
This is what I did for an entire month or month.
Right. So you mentioned this one, and this is a particularly important video because it depicts the homicide. Can you generally indicate for the jurors on this map where that resident's home was, where you got the video from?
It's not on my screen.
There we go. Is that on your screen now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so right here we've got this. It's the 4067 America. It's this little squiggly line right here. It's right about right there.
Okay. And you mentioned something about motion activated. Was that a common occurrence when you were collecting video, that most home surveillance equipment is motion activated rather than just continuous?
That's correct. That's a fair statement.
And can you explain to the jury what that meant in terms of your investigative efforts?
Yeah, so it's tough, right? I mean, you're the home surveillance ones that are hardwired, that have hard drives, they have continuous video feed, and those are easy, right? You can pick up hours long worth of data, but when it's motion activated, however long the camera goes for, whether it's 50 feet, 60 feet, it only activates when there's something in front of it. And people can dictate those camera systems how they want to. So if it's a car, if it's a person, that's up to the original homeowner. So it is trying. And sometimes, they're not perfect, right? So that's where we found a lot of videos were only motion captured, which is just a little 30 seconds before, 30 seconds after. And that's how a lot of those were.
And you mentioned specifically this video that captured a portion of the homicide. It did not capture all 4 gunshots, correct? That's
correct. Just the very last one. And it's because I believe it's Mr. Carney, that's the house in between the very last one on America, which this is, I forget his name, but this is Mr. Carney's house. He actually was driving home at the time and pulled into his driveway, said he heard gunshots and went into his driveway, and he is the car that triggered the motion activation. So if he doesn't drive,
but for him
doing it, that motion is not activated and that camera does not exist.
And we would not have a video of a homicide. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right, Corporal Wallace, I'm going to show you what's been marked and entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 91. This is a compilation video of surveillance clips. Once you identified a shooter on foot, what else did you look for that became of evidentiary significance in those videos? You were looking for the victim's vehicle.
Yeah, we're looking
Explain to the jury how your investigation developed from there.
Yeah, so we have a video, and then we're just going backward. We're trying to just figure out the pattern and which route he drove, right? The last known location to where he was from there. So that's the first thing. And now we have, okay, this is definitely looks like a suspect, right? Running away from the scene of a homicide location. So, all right, he's running south towards JTB. That's pretty much an interstate, right? So at that point, he's either...
Yes.
Oh, sorry, the suspect.
You can refer to it as, at the time, you had not identified this figure on screen.
At the time, we had not identified this figure that was running away from the homicide location. So the suspect is going to run into an interstate, and at that point, they either take a right, which is west over the bridge, or they have to go back east, back into Jacksonville Beach. And the first road that they're going to hit is Grande Boulevard. And at that road, they either turn back down Grande and go back towards Jacksonville Drive, or they kind of continue up and they're going to wind up going towards South Beach Parkway. So we're trying to find that figure, right? Either they got picked up or they're still on foot, or they're in hiding.
You had a description in a known vehicle belonging to the victim in this case, Jared Bridegan, a black Volkswagen Atlas. Did you also look for surveillance clips of Mr. Bridegan's Atlas?
Correct. Yes. That was the route that we established down America and Jacksonville Drive and the 15th Street, Fairway Lane, Seabreeze, and things like that.
In the killers or shooter left behind a tire in a road, and at some point did somebody at Jacksonville Beach theorize that that tire belonged most likely to a pickup truck, a Ford F-150?
Correct. We went through I don't think I was the one that figured out or at least believed that it was to a light-size pickup truck or a Ford, but that was deduced through our investigation.
So with that information, what did you start to look for on these video clips?
We looked for other, just other trucks, light-size trucks, but the real, I guess, aha moment was we were sitting in detectives, and we had gathered a lot of video at the time, and we used, we went back, I say like an hour and a half back in time, and one of the detectives who was sitting in the same room as me kind of noticed a vehicle that was looking, or that just acted a little different at the 4067 video, and that's Trent Waterman's video, because not only did we get the shooting video, we went back a couple hours before, a couple hours after. You don't know what you have, right? And so he noticed this vehicle, a truck actually, that was operating unusually in that stretch of Sanctuary Boulevard, and then the truck passes in one direction and then comes back another. And so once we kind of identified that was unusual, we started to really look at that vehicle, and that's kind of what started the blue truck of our investigation.
And that vehicle that you said was driving in an unusual manner before the homicide, what was unusual about the manner it was driving?
It's just kind of, I don't want to say stop for no reason, because there could be a reason that you would slow down in that area, but it wouldn't be because there's a stop sign, a yield sign, or a crosswalk. Like, there's really no reason, unless a squirrel runs in front of your car, to slow down to that length in that area.
And when you say that area, what are you referring to specifically?
Sanctuary Boulevard, going towards the JTB on-ramp. Most of those cars are going to JTB, and they're going to jump on the entrance ramp and head west over the bridge, because you can't go east, right? And so just going slow, the way that vehicle was traveling was unusual, is the term I would use. And then it actually turns back and does a U-turn, which again is pretty unusual. Most vehicles turn right and they go west over the bridge, but this truck did not. And it went back and came back Sanctuary Boulevard, and then kind of paused again, fairly unusually, not at a stop sign, not at a crosswalk. And so that really piqued our interest with this truck.
And that was appeared to be a blue pickup truck.
We determined to be a blue two-tone, top blue, bottom gold pickup truck, older model Ford F-150.
Once you identified that truck, in going through the surveillance video, did you look to see if there were occasions when Jared Bridegan's Atlas and a blue two-tone pickup truck were together on camera?
Yeah, we found that out pretty quickly after we really started looking at the blue truck, where we essentially, once we went back, right? So we started at the homicide location, then went back towards the last known location. And at 25 Fairway, you'll see the blue truck, and that's in front of Jared Bridegan's Atlas. And this is on the way from the last known location to the eventual homicide scene. And then we followed it and obtained other video that also kind of corroborated. Same blue truck, gold, two-tone, blue top, gold bottom, through several residents and home surveillance pre-homicide.
Were you ever able, in your review of the surveillance video collected, to make out a tag number on that vehicle? No tag number. We went through some pretty extensive efforts, took a trip to Orlando to an FDLE task force for some type of video enhancement. We couldn't find a tag number. We even sent a lot of compilations to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. They had some type of video enhancement and things where they could try to zoom and see the tag, but we were unable to capture that. And at this time, back in February of 2022, did the Jacksonville Beach jurisdiction have license plate readers?
No.
And can you explain to the jury, if they're not familiar, what is a license plate reader?
It's a moment-in-time snapshot that captures alphanumeric characteristics of your license plate and your vehicle. Occasionally, they can go into more in that and use AI to actually figure out what kind of vehicle you have, like a truck or a car or a semi and things like that. But no, we did not have them in 2022. We do have them now, but did not then.
The video we're about to watch, there are several clips that are strung together in time order based on the corrected timestamps. Have you reviewed this video yourself?
Yes.
And there were many, many, many clips collected, and there are many trucks in Jacksonville Beach. A truck's not a unique vehicle.
Right.
As best you can say, the clips we're about to see, were you able to, with some degree of reasonable certainty, identify those as being very similar or consistent with the truck, the suspect truck?
Absolutely. Older model, blue top, gold bottom, two-tone F-150s around that same time. It's, we don't have a ton of those. And so that was with, like you said, pretty much some consistency, yes, the same truck.
Were any video clips included in this compilation that you could not reasonably say were that truck specifically? Maybe there wasn't enough detail to be viewed that you could see it was two-toned or the size or anything?
Well, I think pretty much everyone in the video, you'll see that it's two-tone.
Okay. All right, Your Honor, mistake published states 91.
Yes. Is it on the juror screen? Can you publish so?
Yes. Sorry, it's still opening. All right. Confirm, can
my
everybody
doodle
see
is-
the still shot?
The doodle is still there.
Okay. All right, I may ask you some questions as we view this, Corporal.
Sure.
Beginning with, we see these little thumbtacks here. Do those indicate the addresses of the residences and businesses that you obtained surveillance from?
It's just one, but yes.
Yeah, overall in this
Overall,
video.
correct.
What we're looking at right now, you mentioned earlier, you did retrieve surveillance from Taco Lou, located at 1712 Beach Boulevard.
That's correct. I actually did, I got this one, so yes.
Okay. And I'm going to begin publishing. I'm pausing it at 15 seconds. Corporal, we see a blue Ford truck driving down driving down Beach Boulevard on the Taco Lou camera, and that is one of the surveillance clips you identified as potentially being the suspect truck in this case.
That's correct.
And we see the Google map of the area. We see that south on 15th Street to Fairway Lane. Does that correspond with the map you showed us earlier of where Jared Bridegan would have left Marsh Inlet and gone south?
That's correct.
Down Fairway Lane. Mm-hmm. And here in this area to the left, is that Cradle Creek area that did not have working cameras?
Area. Small little public parking lot right here, 5-6 spaces. There was a camera right here, again, not operational.
Okay. But there is a little, where you've circled, there's a small parking lot right there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Are there any homes or businesses there?
No.
What is Cradle Creek?
It's a park. It's just a preserve, walk-through, nature trail. Good way for it.
So the parking lot is at the entrance of the nature trail.
That's correct.
Resuming playing, we see the Fairway Lane on the map. And then we see a pin for 25 Fairway Lane. And at the bottom, we have the timestamp notated. Would that have been the correct timestamp that you verified when you were collecting videos?
Correct.
So this is 6:36 p.m. and the homicide occurred at 7:52.
52, correct.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Ooh, sorry.
Yes. The timestamp was 6:34 p.m. and what time was the homicide?
1952, 7:52.
Which is 7:52 p.m. in non-military time. Now we're seeing at America Avenue 6:57 p.m. And Corporal, can you describe what you observed in this video that caused you to collect it and believe it to be of evidentiary value?
Yeah, it's the older model two-tone F-150, blue top, gold bottom.
And moving on the same road, a different camera at 18:41, which would be 6:41 p.m.
Right. Pretty good shot of the two-tone there.
And I paused it here at 2 minutes in, and we can see a two-toned blue pickup truck. Resuming playing, we're at 2743 America Avenue. And this Nest camera indicates this is 6:41:15 p.m. And again, Corporal, are we seeing that blue two-tone truck?
Blue two-tone truck.
And we see here 6:41:47 p.m. And this is a house on America Avenue.
This was
Is that correct?
Kelly Slayman's house, that's correct.
Okay. And here, Corporal, do we see a two-toned vehicle, a two-toned truck, I'm sorry, excuse me, passing through on this video?
Blue top, gold bottom.
I want to show that again with the time bar out of the way. Resuming playing. And at the bottom, we see in the right-hand corner, actual time and a timestamp. Is that one of those examples of you all correcting to make sure the time is accurate for these videos?
Correct. This was one of those home surveillance hard drive.
Resuming playing, we're going south on America Avenue. And then we see Sanctuary Boulevard. Here, I'm going to pause briefly. Before we get to the video, can you indicate for the jurors where the homicide scene was, if we're looking at the map on this video?
So it's back up in this area. This Sanctuary Wishbones, it's one-way traffic, so I'm just going to mark on it again.
Sure.
It's one way here, and then this is also one way in that direction.
And if you exit onto, this is J. Turner Butler down here?
That's correct, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that you would head west onto JTB. You can't, unfortunately, you can't see it based on this picture, but then you can kind of deduce based off of the traffic signals on the roadway, like you can only turn west. You can't go back and turn east. So again, doing a U-turn here, not unheard of, but unusual.
Okay. And this 4067 America Avenue, is that the video that you were discussing earlier was significant because it actually captured the homicide?
That's correct. That's Trent Waterman's house.
So this ring footage is dated 1843, which would be 6:43 p.m.
This is what I was, sorry.
Go ahead.
This is what I was talking about earlier. Just pretty unusual for that truck. And you could, again, see the characteristics of it right there. To slow down in that location, again, could there be something in the road or, a reason to slow down? I'm sure there could be, but it's just unusual for it.
I'm going to back it up 10 seconds, 20 seconds actually. So this video is not continuous, it skips. Was that how you collected it?
Correct.
And is that because of what we discussed earlier, that if you have motion down here, people coming out, motion activates it?
That's correct. I think you'll see Mr. Waterman is moving or doing something. I think he has a dolly in this video, but he's moving back and forth in the camera. It's detecting motion. So
when the screen says 10 seconds later, that means there is no corresponding video for that time frame because there's no motion down here activating the camera.
That's correct.
We do see that truck slowing down.
Right.
And is
almost comes to a stop, it looks like.
Where it slowed down, this area here, is this where the homicide occurred?
Yes.
And 6:43 is about an hour and 10 minutes prior to the homicide.
Right.
And we see that truck again, and we see the brake lights coming on again.
Yes, correct. Now, there is a stop sign, but it's much further.
So there's no stop sign right there where it's brake lights?
Not right there. Yeah, you'll see, if you kind of go up, we're still going up, Actually, I take that back. I'm not sure if there's a stop sign here at this location. But again, this is the intersection where one would slow down to turn left, right.
Understood. Then we have 3940 Grande Boulevard. This is at 6:44 p.m.
Right.
And we see that two-toned vehicle. And in this shot, we can see a very good shot into the bed of that vehicle.
Correct.
And it appears to be an object in the bed of that vehicle.
There is definitely an object in the bed of that truck.
And in this video on Grande Boulevard at 6:45 prior to the homicide, the vehicle, would you say, appears to be driving a reasonable speed for the neighborhood?
It seems fine.
Right, it's not speeding.
No, not speeding, that's reasonable speed.
Continuing publishing. I should have asked this earlier, but this map is oriented north to south, east, west. So whatever cardinal direction it's moving is correct.
Correct. It's moving north.
Jacksonville Drive runs east and west, and South Beach runs north to south.
That's correct.
And we have a video here from Ocean K at 6:44 p.m. What is Ocean K?
It's a subdivision in South Jacks Beach.
Okay. We see a vehicle, that two-tone truck again. Mm-hmm. Here we are at 882 13th Avenue. You had mentioned earlier expanding your search to 9th Street and 13th Street. And then here we also see that the start time, the timestamp has been corrected.
Correct.
And we saw that two-tone truck with another vehicle passing behind it. And 901 7th Street South, actual time 1850, which would be 6:50 p.m., correct?
That's correct.
We see that. You see that truck going by again. Again, it appears when you watch it, there's something in the bed of that truck.
Correct.
The jury will obviously have this in the jury room with them. This is on Windows Media Player. If you pause it and hit key E, you can go frame by frame. And this is Shetter Avenue.
Heading towards the police department.
Okay. You mentioned earlier builder's choice and also a refrigeration.
Correct. Jack's Refrigeration was back on 9th Street. This is builder's choice and public storage.
What I wanted to ask was the video that we're seeing on the map that was more south would it be fair to say mostly residential cameras?
Yes.
And then now here we're further north, we're starting to get into more
commercial properties.
Commercial properties. So in the area where the homicide occurred, are there very many businesses or commercial properties?
No, it's pretty much all residential.
And here we are showing the approximate actual corrected time is 6:49 p.m. and we can see the blue two-tone truck. And you made attempts on this video in particular to see if you could get a tag.
This one in the 882 13th that you saw a couple of minutes ago.
You were unable to make out a tag number on this.
That's correct.
And we're seeing right here on Penman Road and Shutter, this is the Jacksonville Beach Police Station.
Correct.
You all obviously have surveillance. So we see here at 6:52 that two-tone truck driving past the police station. And again, over here, do we see that two-tone truck?
Blue top, gold bottom.
This road here that this truck is traveling on, is that Shetter Avenue?
That is Shetter Avenue.
If you keep driving Shetter Avenue west, what do you get to eventually?
You're going to run into Pablo Hamlet. It's an assisted living facility.
And is that kind of the dead end of Shetter Avenue?
That is the dead end of Shetter Avenue.
So here we see indicated the camera for Pablo Hamlet, that assisted living facility you spoke about. What is this property, if you come back down here, what is this property here?
That's part of the assisted living facility. It's just a 4-story building, just one solid address.
And to get to this property, is this how you would come in through Shetter?
That's the only way you can get there.
So we see here from this camera angle, and this is a video with an incorrect timestamp. Actual time, 6:53:16 p.m. So we're still about an hour ahead of the homicide. In this video, we see that two-tone truck backing up. And right here, just to orient the jury, this camera, that assisted living facility that I just circled in the last frame, it's behind us, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then where is Shedder, if we're looking at this?
Shedder is right here. Like there's a little, I guess, cul-de-sac dead end that kind of circles around right here. But Shedder is back up this way. This is all Pablo Hamlet parking lot.
What is here? What is this way on this side of
That's the back side of Pablo Hamlet.
And if you keep going out Shedder, what property is located here in
That's
between?
the-
Hold on.
sorry.
I don't want to talk over you because Miss Melanie, our court reporter, is going to give me the stink eye if I keep doing that.
Sure.
In between this assisted living facility and Shedder Avenue, is there another property right here?
Discovery School.
The Discovery School. And can you explain to the jury what the Pablo Hamlet surveillance is going to show? There's quite a bit of time this truck is sitting here, correct?
Yeah, so we watched it. We watched this video a lot to see if we could see someone walking away from it to it. But it's just backed in, sitting there in the back of a cul-de-sac. Like it's, I don't want to say a parking area, but vehicles have parked there and do park there. But backing in that U-shaped area is
How long
classified
approximately,
unusual.
if you can recall, about how long does this truck sit here?
20, 30 minutes?
So we've included the entirety of the 23 minutes it's sitting here. I'm going to kind of move it along if I can.
Yeah.
So the entirety of the time of this 23 minutes, this truck remains here, and we can tell that because its headlight is still visible, correct?
The back taillight, actually.
Taillight.
Yeah.
So we see at some point during the video that the taillight appears to go dim.
Correct.
During this 23 minutes, we're going to see other vehicles and people coming back into that living facility. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right here, though, this is just like a cul-de-sac cut-in. There's no apartments here. There's no businesses.
No, it's just a cul-de-sac.
There's no formal
turnaround.
parking spots drawn.
I don't think so.
Okay. And then we see headlights or taillights coming back on. And then they dim again. You can see a little cat through the parking lot. I'm going to try to move this along. I don't want everyone just sitting here while this truck is sitting here. Obviously, the jury can take it back in the jury room and watch it in its entirety. I see the taillights have come back on. Too far. And they are dimming, and then we can see that the truck pulls out at the actual corrected time of 7:12 p.m., correct?
Correct.
So the map we discussed earlier, that Pablo Hamlet at Shedder, if you go down 15th, you hit the Discovery School, and then right next to the Discovery School is going to be 1511 Marsh Inlet, the home of Mr. Gardner and Ms. Fernandez. And as you mentioned, going down 15th Street, you've got Cradle Creek down here with no cameras, and then the golf course with no cameras. The next available footage is going to be this camera we looked at previously on Fairway Lane.
25 Fairway, correct.
25 Fairway Lane. So there was no available footage from that point that truck left Pablo Hamlet until this camera at 25 Fairway Lane. Fairway Lane.
That's correct.
So here we have at 7:47, we see that truck. And then, is this one of those videos you discussed where we actually see the truck followed by that black Volkswagen Atlas?
Correct.
And Corporal, for the next few minutes of surveillance, we're going to see that truck and then the victim's vehicle, and then we're going to see the homicide video, correct?
Correct.
So 7:50 p.m., there's that truck. Again, the truck. And this time, does he appear to be moving at a higher rate of speed than the previous videos?
Definitely following pretty closely behind the white pickup truck.
And we are approximately 1 minute and 15 seconds from the homicide. And we are seeing what appears to be the Volkswagen Atlas. So it's a couple seconds behind that truck.
Correct.
Seven 25 p.m., we have that Nest camera. We see a white truck. We see that two-tone truck. And then we're going to see the victim's Atlas passing by as well. And at 7:51:11, that two-ton truck is going by, fair to say, at a decently high rate of speed for the area?
I would say over the speed limit.
Okay. And then we have the victim's vehicle behind. Sound's not on? Let's see. Sure this is on. There we go. So, Corporal, we see a black placard sign. Was there audio of gunshots collected from other Ring cameras in the area that did not show the homicide?
Sanctuary Way South, correct.
Okay. So we're going to hear 3 shots from a different camera and then see the homicide on the 4th shot. Is that right?
That's correct.
So 7:51:11 is the suspect vehicle. 7:51:32. So the truck is about 20 seconds ahead of victim's vehicle, give or take. We see that figure you described walking and then running out of frame.
Correct.
And Corporal, is that the video that you described earlier showing the figure that eventually was identified as the suspect in this case, Henry Tenen?
Correct.
After Henry Tenen was identified, did you go back and look for a figure on foot that matched his description and matched the homicide timeline?
Yes.
All right, we see Grande Boulevard, and we saw this same view earlier with the boat, when we could see that tire in the back of the vehicle. So we're now at 7:53:40 p.m., and we appear to see no object in the back of that truck now.
Correct.
And would you say, earlier I asked you, it appeared to be driving at a normal rate of speed. Would you say that that vehicle is now traveling at an excessive rate of speed in the neighborhood?
Definitely above the speed limit.
Following receiving this video and seeing that the shooter was on foot and not in a vehicle, and the identification of Henry Tenen, did you all look for video surveillance showing a truck and a shooter separated from each other? A vehicle leaving the scene as well as an individual on foot leaving a scene?
Like 2 different times, yes.
And what does that indicate to you?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Well, the timing is different. So we saw the vehicle go by, and we're going to see someone go by on foot. Is
Correct.
common sense.
The vehicle is gone.
Right.
This suspect is just walking, away from the homicide scene.
Okay, so the suspect walking is not in the truck.
Yes.
We see here a figure on foot. We see some minutes later, after we watch that truck speed down Grande, we see this figure on foot following a few minutes behind. And here we see that Ocean Cay surveillance showing a truck, and then 18 minutes, 36 seconds later, that same camera picks up that figure on foot, correct?
Correct.
I see a timestamp for 7:50, which is about 8 minutes after the homicide, and we see that truck backing back into that same cul-de-sac that it was in earlier, and then appears to turn. Were you all able to obtain footage or find that blue truck between Ocean Cay and Pablo Hamlet? Hang on, let me pause this.
Yeah. You talking after the? I don't remember. Again, I got promoted in April, so I went away from investigations, and people kind of took up what I was doing.
So we see here an hour and 43 seconds since Ocean Cay, the police department surveillance picks up that figure on foot again, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Here in another angle from the police station surveillance, we see that same figure walking. And again, is this Cheddar Avenue?
Cheddar.
And does
Found
this
on Cheddar. Sorry.
And does this lead all the way back to that dead-end cul-de-sac at Pablo Hamlet?
It does.
Corporal Wallace, other than collecting and reviewing the surveillance video to assist the detectives in this case, you didn't participate in any witness interviews and ongoing investigation, did you?
I think I assisted Detective Lamont with an interview of Miss Curry, and then I think that was it.
You were assisting in mainly in this capacity with the surveillance, and you did not participate in the arrests of Mr. Fernandez, Ms. Gardner, or Mr. Tennant.
That's correct.
Give me just one moment.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, let me see the lawyers at sidebar without the court reporter. Members of the jury, we've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes, so I'm going to take a 15-minute break, and we will start back. It'll take you some time to get back there at 11:05, okay? So leave your notepads on your chair, and you can take your mid-morning break.
Oh, just saying. Yeah.
a lot of time to look at a lot of footage in this case. Is that fair?
Fair.
And you wanted everything to be as accurate as possible. Is that right?
Yes.
You took time to try to match times, and I think if I understood you correctly, that was not the first time you had seen that video before today, correct?
That is correct. One time.
Okay. So and you agree with me that accuracy is important, right?
Yes.
This is a big case. It's an important case.
Yes.
All right. So let's just start with one thing I think you'll agree with me is just flat out wrong about that video, okay?
Is it published for the jurors?
It is. Members of the jury, can you see that?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, you may proceed.
All right, so this is...
Should be.
Well, hold on. Let me ask my question.
Sure, go ahead.
My question to you is, this is the part of the video where the blue two-tone truck, as you say, comes back to Pablo Hamlet, correct?
Correct.
And you and I know, and you know now what the mistake is because you see it, this homicide was at 7:52, correct?
Correct.
And on this video that the state put into evidence and asked you detailed questions about, you said that this is the truck coming back at 7:50, correct?
I did not say 7:50.
Well, the video says 7:50, correct?
It does. That's correct.
That's wrong.
Should be 8 o'clock.
Right. It can't come back at 7:50 because it would never match the timeline. So if that, in fact, is the truck, it's either the time is wrong in that video or that's not the truck.
The time is wrong in that video.
That's what your position is, the time is wrong.
That's correct.
Okay. So now let's go back to the first time that the truck goes to Pablo Hamlet, okay?
Okay.
May I approach the evidence, Your Honor?
Yes.
May I just take this binder with me?
Sure.
I'm going to show you what's been marked by the defense as exhibit number 26, okay? Maybe turn it the other way, Ms. Day. Okay. Can you see that, Corporal?
It's not on the screen.
Okay. Fair enough. Can you see that?
That's correct.
All right. This is a daytime photo of the area of Pablo Hamlet where you have testified the truck backed up?
Correct.
Okay. So just to give the jury some idea of what we're talking about, the assisted living facility is that big building that's parked there?
On the left-hand side, correct.
Okay. And then there's some signs in between the roadway and the little mini cul-de-sac. Do you see those signs?
Correct.
I assume being in Jack's Beach as long as you have, you know that those signs say that you're being recorded.
Can you tell me when this picture was taken?
Do you think those signs are new?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you dispute that there are signs there that say you're being recorded?
I don't dispute, I just don't know.
Okay, sure. Let's just use what we know to be true then. That area is being recorded, correct?
At the time, yes, it was.
Sure. And that's how you have the evidence that you have, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so it wouldn't shock you that there's a sign there that says you're being recorded, right?
Yeah, but it would shock me, I guess.
Okay. Oh, can I see that photo back? Showing you what's been entered into evidence as defense number 27. It's another daytime photo. Can you see that, Corporal?
That's correct. Yes, I can.
If you were backed up into that spot and you were sitting in the passenger or driver's seat or whatever vehicle and you were looking out, that building is an apartment or condo complex to the left, correct?
That's correct.
So that would be just on the other side of the street to where you sort of saw that station wagon parked, just maybe a little bit forward or east.
Station wagon was in the previous photo?
It wasn't in the previous photo, it was in that long video that we all watched.
Yeah, okay.
You remember there's a station wagon sort of on the right-hand side for that 17 minutes. I'll show it to you again.
Okay.
But nonetheless,
Sure.
it's on the roadway as you're going into where the assisted living facility is.
Yes.
So everyone understands, you have this apartment complex that's over here. You have the parking spot, and then kind of behind it, in between those two things, is where the truck may have been parked.
Was parked, yes.
Was parked. So there's lots of residential living areas that surround that spot, correct?
It's a lot of units, correct.
Okay. I'm sorry, this has been marked as defense of 28, for the record. Corporal, that's a close-up of those signs.
Correct.
And then if you look to the left, there's like a Mini, is that, that brand of car?
Correct.
Okay. And then just beyond the Mini, do you see that smoking shack?
It's a gazebo, correct.
Gazebo.
Yeah.
And that's where people at the assisted living community go back and forth if they want to sit in there, smoke a cigarette, or do anything they want, converse, right?
Sure.
And that's right next to where that little parking spot is where you say the truck backed into, correct?
Correct, yeah. There's the angle of this picture isn't perfect. This brush right here kind of blocks it depending on how far you back up into that cul-de-sac.
Right. And of course, while we were watching that video, you can see cars going in and cars going out.
That's correct.
So fair to say it's surrounded by residential areas, a gazebo. It's not tucked in the middle of nowhere where no one would see what's going on in that cul-de-sac, correct?
Can you, repeat the question?
That cul-de-sac
Right.
at Pablo Hamlet is not in the middle of nowhere. It's dead center in between two residential buildings that I've shown you, right?
Correct.
And a smoking shack or a gazebo where people may be.
Correct. You
This is
usually
about-
use during the day for that smoke shack.
We're talking about, what, 7 p.m.? I'm sorry, 6:17, that area, that time?
Yeah, I would say mostly used during the day, less at evening.
Okay. Oh, can I have that photo back? Okay. Just so we're clear, your timeline on the first video that you stand by and you say is correct, the truck backs up at approximately 6:53 p.m. and leaves around 7:12 p.m. I'm not trying to play gotcha.
Yeah, I need to go back and look at it, but correct.
Sure, load it up, please. Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
And you said, while we're pulling that up so you can verify those times, that as part of that time that you took to find all this surveillance and to review all this surveillance, you watched that video multiple times, correct?
Correct.
That was an important piece of evidence, correct?
Correct.
And you can never see a person going to or from that truck at any point during that surveillance, can you?
That's correct.
Okay. And that's something that you looked for.
That's also correct.
And as you sit here today, there is no evidence of that.
I cannot see anyone walking to or from the car.
Okay. Common sense tells us there has to be a driver in the car, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And a point that I think the state asked you, and maybe I didn't understand that it was so clear, so I'll ask you again. The shooter in this case leaves on foot from the homicide scene, correct?
Correct.
So without beating around the bush, you can't be the driver and the shooter in this case.
I don't want to say, can you not?
The vehicle,
Yeah. Maybe I'm not understanding your question.
yeah, maybe you don't, because I think this is really an easy question.
Okay.
The person who is the person who you say is the shooter,
Yes.
you identified as walking and then running from the scene.
What I'm saying is, could they have been the driver first and then the passenger, the passenger first and then the driver second. That's all I was saying.
Okay. There's two people in the car. That's for certain.
That's correct.
Because you can't be the person running from the scene and the person driving the vehicle away from the scene, correct?
Correct.
And in all of the surveillance that we went through for the last hour and a half, that you have poured over, did you ever see any surveillance of Mr. Fernandez?
No.
Did you ever see any surveillance consistent with anybody else getting into that blue truck?
No.
And in this video, you would agree with me that there were times where whoever made this compilation that you had seen before you came to court and you testified to, there were times where you thought it was important, because you testified to it, that there were gaps, meaning 5 minutes later, like it would come on the screen. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And it would say 5 minutes later, 18 minutes later, 1 hour and 45 minutes later. Do you recall those messages, so to speak, coming up as part of the video?
Correct.
Okay, but I want to show you where you didn't put that on the video, because you know that at approximately 7:12, and do you need to see that to refresh your recollection as to when that truck leaves?
Corporal, may I answer?
I'm sorry. Oh, when it leaves on the video. Sorry.
Sure. So the correct, and I'm not talking about the time that the video says it leaves. I want to talk in fact, what time you think it actually is.
Okay.
Because just for the record, we both agree that this video time is not accurate.
That's correct.
You had to do some math.
Correct.
And it's approximately a 17-minute fast video.
Correct.
Okay. I'm just trying to get it to the end so you can verify for me that it's approximately 7:12. Okay. Take your time. Okay. Stop. Was I pretty accurate when I told you it was 7:12?
Good. Yes.
And you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the next time, do you agree with me that between when that vehicle pulls out and the next time on this video you see that blue truck, no message pops up to tell anybody who would be watching this video that there's a gap like you do the other few times in this video? You understand my question?
I see what you're saying. There's no 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later.
Doesn't tell you. So now let's look and see what time the next time this video picks up. Okay, so we all watched it together. It shows the truck pulling out, and then it shows an animation as if it's just going down the road, and then you would agree with me, the next time it hits anything, it's 7:47.
Correct.
That's 36 minutes later.
Correct.
You have no idea where that blue truck is for 36 minutes.
I don't know.
There's not a single piece of surveillance that you can provide that gives this jury any indication of what was happening during that 36 minutes.
Not to my knowledge.
And fair enough, although it may not say it, you agree with me, I've now pointed out that it's an accurate approximate 36-minute gap.
Correct.
Okay. Some of the things that I'm sure you were looking for on that blue two-tone truck were, did you ever notice that the tag light was a bright tag light versus other tag lights? Is that ever something that caught your attention?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think, yeah, just...
That wasn't one thing that you sort of, when you were trying to identify, and let's just back up a little bit.
Sure.
That truck is certainly easier to identify in the dusk hour than it is in the night hour.
Correct.
In the night hour, harder to identify is just a fact, right?
You're using brake lights, the, truck bed light, the front headlights, and then the actual shape of the car.
And you never noticed anything like that tag light was particularly bright?
I don't think so. I think it was just illuminated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when we get to the end of the video, okay, it ends with what you all described as a shadowy figure walking past the police department, correct?
Yes.
But one thing I didn't ask you is the Pablo Hamlet camera is not motion activated.
That's correct.
You gave a few examples and you said, like there are some people that have cameras. The guy with the dolly came out, it triggered it, and then lucky enough for the investigation, you got some footage, right?
Correct.
And then you talked about other times where there's still cameras that just record everything all the time.
Correct.
So to give a fair example, Pablo Hamlet is a camera that records things all the time.
Correct.
So if we want to know what happened at Pablo Hamlet, we don't have to guess, right?
Correct.
So if we want to make it so that the blue truck gets to Pablo Hamlet and we think that is the truck, we'll see it at Pablo Hamlet, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now with all those facts that we can agree on together, at the end of your video, when the shadowy figure, who I won't beat around the bush, you think that's Henry Tenen, right?
Yes.
Okay. Henry Tenen is walking past the police station, correct?
Correct.
And Henry Tenen is walking toward Pablo Hamlet. That's what you ended your testimony with, right?
Correct.
And it sort of makes this illusion that he's going back to where that truck may have been, correct?
He's heading back towards where the truck ended, correct?
Right. But what we know, because that camera records all the time, is there is no video of Henry Tenen going back to where that truck was.
Not to my knowledge, that's correct.
Right, sure, that would be important, and you would have shown that to the jury, right?
Correct.
And of course, if the truck was there, if the concept is, well, he's heading back toward where we know that truck was before, then let's go look. Is the truck there? We know the truck is not there. Otherwise, we could show it to the jury, right?
Sorry, say it one more time.
I'll make it clear. The truck is not at Pablo Hamlet any other time than when you've shown the jury the truck is at Pablo Hamlet.
Not to my knowledge, correct.
Right. Because, and it's not because you're now just figuring this out. You looked to see if the truck went back to Pablo Hamlet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was part of your scouring all sorts of surveillance clips and watching all of the time that you put in, you would have seen it if it was there. And of course, it's not in the video and it's not there, correct?
Now, also don't forget, these videos do overwrite themselves. And so there were times where we went back and forth to other places. I don't know if the investigators went back and tried to obtain more video after the fact. But, what we have is, I think, what we were able to get at the time.
All right. Corporal, let's shoot each other straight. The video that we have from that night is that night, correct?
Yes.
You have it earlier in the evening, like we talked about, between the hours of 6:53 and 7:12, right?
Yes.
And then you told me there's a corrected time where it goes back at 8 p.m.
About 8 p.m.
About 8
correct.
p.m.
Sure.
after the homicide, and you stand here today and you're telling the jury, I think that's the truck. You told me that right in the beginning.
Yes.
And then there's video of Henry Tenen about an hour and, 58 minutes, a couple hours later, walking past the police station pretty close to the area, right?
Correct.
You can't possibly think that in that gap of 2 hours that there was a video override and somehow you guys just don't have footage from 2 hours later. You're not testifying to that, are you?
What I'm saying is that when you go to get the video, let's just say you go back one time and then you maybe go back a month later or weeks later, and videos do rewrite themselves. So if you're looking for more data, which we did do, where we only had like an hour before, 2 hours before, you want to go back and you want to get more data. I mean, if I could go back and get the entire day, I would have done that. But at the time, we only got certain segments, and I don't recall if that was one of the instances where we got a fixed amount of data, and then we went back and asked for more, and it was already overwritten. I don't remember.
Well, nonetheless, on that night, from the clips that you do have, you have no information that blue truck went back to Pablo Hamlet, because it'd be on video.
I don't believe so, correct.
And you have no video of Henry Tenen walking toward Pablo Hamlet after he's last seen on the police camera, Jack's Beach police camera videos, correct?
Well, he is walking towards it. He's walking west. But actually arriving to that location, no.
And in this case, what can you offer in terms of videos? Because I want to make sure it's clear, there's lots of surveillance after that time period in Jack's Beach, meaning after the homicide, you have video at Grande, correct?
Yes.
You have video at Fairway Lane, correct?
Correct.
And I'm going to represent to you that all of that post-homicide camera video that we briefly just talked about, more video at Grande, more at Fairway, more on the main roads that goes up, where the park and the fire station, no.
South Beach Parkway?
South Beach Parkway.
Yep.
Okay. And Ocean K. You have video of trucks that night, post the homicide, that were provided to us in discovery that you all collected, correct?
Yes.
And I noticed in the video, none of that exists. Do you not know where that blue truck went at all after it left Pablo Hamlet?
Which instance at the
second time?
It's from the second time, so essentially.
8 p.m.
Yeah. That 36-minute gap? Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, that's a better question.
Sure.
The 36-minute gap, just so I want everyone to be clear, is before the homicide.
Correct.
We talked about that. Then it's your testimony that after the homicide, the blue truck goes back to Pablo Hamlet briefly. It looks like it backs in and it pulls out.
Correct.
And you told me you think that's approximately 8 o'clock, and we've corrected the time to the video, right?
Correct.
And the video ends after Henry Tenen walks toward that area. Is that fair?
Correct, yes.
So I'm asking you, just to kind of back up, you collected a lot of surveillance in Jax Beach post that time, correct?
Correct.
And I'm going to represent to you, it's in evidence for the jury to see.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, I'm doing what criminal defense lawyers should never do. I'm not asking you a leading question. Do you have evidence of where that blue truck went after it pulled out of Pablo Hamlet the second time at 8 p.m.?
I think we have it going by Ocean K. Am I mistaken on that? You go back and.
I think you do.
Yeah.
That it reroutes, it does the loop again, correct?
Goes back towards Ocean K, I believe, and then after that, I don't think there's anything from Ocean K until back to Pablo Hamlet. Maybe
There's nothing back to Pablo
yes.
Hamlet, right? Let's just be clear here. I'm not trying to confuse you.
Sure.
You don't ever have it going back to Pablo Hamlet. That's what I've been asking you for the last 10 minutes.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry?
I'm trying to remember. We're going through two different timelines here.
I want to make sure we're crystal clear, and I'll take the blame for that.
Okay.
There's two timelines. There is a pre-homicide timeline, meaning, let's just walk through it real quick. You showed the jury the blue truck in the almost daylight hours, the dusk hours. Before the homicide, go to the homicide scene, correct?
Yes.
That's the one that you described as sort of unusual.
Correct.
It makes the U-turn, right?
Correct.
It's driving very slow.
Correct.
Just so we're clear, that's before the homicide.
Yes.
Then it goes to Pablo Hamlet, correct?
Correct.
And it stays there for that time period that I've asked you about many, many times, which is the 6:53 to 7:12, correct?
Yes.
Then it leaves, and then there's a 36-minute gap.
That's correct.
You don't know where it is at that point.
Know where it is at that time.
Then you testify that you think it gets picked up and it goes to the homicide scene, correct?
Correct.
And then at 7:52, there's a homicide.
Correct.
And then you see the truck post the homicide.
Yes.
And that's where Ms. Stifler asked you, does it appear to be driving a little fast? That you said yes.
That was Jacksonville driving Grande Boulevard, yes.
Right?
Correct.
And then you see it on Ocean K.
Correct.
And then you see it up toward the police station and the public storage.
Correct.
And then you see it past the police station. That's the video where all the people are on the sidewalk and the truck passes right by them.
Correct.
Right? So we're not talking, and another question is, that truck passed people right there on the sidewalk at the police station, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't in the middle of the night. We're talking between 7:52 and 8 p.m. on a Wednesday night, right?
Yes.
And then, just to continue, because I want this to be so crystal clear, then the truck goes back to Pablo Hamlet, correct?
Yes.
And you see it pull in.
Yes.
And pull out.
Yes.
Doesn't stay there for
very long.
Very long.
Correct.
And that is the last time you ever have that truck at Pablo Hamlet.
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. That we can agree.
Okay, sure.
All right. I certainly am not trying to confuse you. I'm just trying to get the facts.
Sure.
Then, if I understood your testimony correct, you think that you do have evidence of the truck again in other places of Jack's Beach? Or were you confused and you didn't understand my question?
No, I was confused. That's what we have, the evidence that we have.
Okay, so you would not feel comfortable testifying that in the clips of all the other surveillance, because again, let's continue with this timeline to make sure you're not confused. I did ask you, you did collect more surveillance after the homicide, meaning after 8 o'clock.
Yes.
You have surveillance at Ocean Cay after 8 o'clock.
Yes.
You have surveillance at Grande after 8 o'clock.
Yes.
You have surveillance at Fairway and America after 8 o'clock.
Correct.
Okay. And I'm going to submit to you that that's in evidence for the jury to look at.
Yes.
They can make a decision if they see the blue truck driving around Jack's Beach. But what your testimony is, if I understand it, is that you don't feel comfortable saying where that blue truck is after 8 p.m.
Correct.
So it takes Mr. Tennant a couple hours on foot to get back up to that area, right?
Correct.
And it would be your testimony you have no idea where that blue truck is during that time period.
Correct.
And as part of collecting all the surveillance and speaking to witnesses, nobody puts that blue truck at Marsh Inlet, the residence of Mr. Fernandez and Shanna Gardner at that time, correct?
To my knowledge, that is correct.
Of course. And nobody has any surveillance at Marsh Inlet that puts that blue truck over there at Marsh Inlet, correct?
To my knowledge, correct.
Because that would be included in the video. That'd be really good evidence against Mr. Fernandez if you did, right?
That would be good evidence.
Sure. And you don't have that.
Do not.
May I have a moment with counsel, Your Honor?
Yes.
We do not have any further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Any redirect?
Corporal, I'm going to borrow some of these photographs the defense showed you. Still up there?
They're in white. It was around 28, 29.
Gotcha. I got it. Thank you. Corporal, defense counsel showed you a photograph of Pablo Hamlet with some signs, and you asked when this photo was taken because you could not recall if those signs were present back in 2022. So I think in fairness, you should know this photograph was taken by defense counsel in July of 2026. Does that give you any information or refresh your memory as to whether those signs were present back in 2022?
Again, I can't say if they were there or not.
Okay. And for the record, this is Defense Exhibit 26. I'm showing you Defense Exhibit number 28, which Mr. Dreiser showed you as well, with a little smoking gazebo here. There we go. And I'm circling the left-hand side of my screen. And these signs here, which I'm circling on the right-hand side of the screen. The cul-de-sac where the truck is located is around this corner, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So if you were backed in the truck, you would be adjacent to these bushes and not, and I just want to make it clear because maybe I misunderstood Mr. Dreiser, you would not be right here next to this smoking shack, would you?
No, likely hidden from view.
Mr. Dreiser mentioned a gap in video footage for 36 minutes when the blue truck leaves Pablo Hamlet for the first time and is not seen again until Fairway Lane prior to the homicide. And I'm showing you State's Exhibit 209, which we've previously gone over. Actually, I'm going to show you State's 208. This is kind of a silly question, But you can't know what you can't know, right?
Sounds right.
Earlier, you testified that here, this flag is 1511 Marsh Inlet, and that there are no surveillance cameras until we hit 25 Fairway Lane. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
So the truck, theoretically, for 36 minutes could have been parked, gone by from Pablo Hamlet here, right by Marsh Inlet, which is on the corner, right?
It is.
And parked anywhere along this area with no cameras to observe its whereabouts.
That's correct.
And I want to show you a photograph that Mr. Dreiser did not show you, but was actually marked and entered into evidence as Defense Exhibit 30. This is a photograph of the gravel parking lot at the Discovery School, which you testified to earlier. So if you were to come, shutter here, would you reach Pablo Hamlet?
Yes.
And if you were to leave Pablo Hamlet and turn back here, is this the parking lot of the Discovery School?
That's correct.
You testified earlier that you went to the Discovery School and they did not have any working surveillance cameras at the time of the homicide, correct?
That's correct.
And this residence right here, what residence is that?
1511 Marsh Inlet.
The home of Mr. Fernandez and Ms. Gardner?
That's correct.
I have no further questions. Thank you, Corporal.
I have a brief recross
New grounds.
from the grounds that she just covered.
Okay.
Corporal, it's Wednesday at 6:58 to 7:12. That's the time period we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Then post that to the homicide gap, correct? That's the 36 minutes that she just asked you about.
Correct.
That's a school, correct?
Yes.
Who told you that there was a truck parked in that gravel parking lot that matched the description of the truck you're looking for? The answer is no one. No one told you there was a blue truck there, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Nobody told you there was a blue truck matching the description of the truck that you've been testifying to at the Paddle Creek Observatory, correct?
That's also correct.
And nobody told you that along the whole roadway where the golf course is and the nice little wooden fence that makes up, what is that, 15th?
15th, that's correct.
Nobody told you there was a blue truck parked there that matched the description of the truck that was blasted all over the news that everybody was looking for, did they?
That's correct.
No further questions.
Anything further for the witness?
No, Your Honor. He can be excused.
All right. Thank you, Corporal.
Thank you.